The Speaker of the US House of Representatives, Nancy Pelosi, has given a press conference in Tokyo where she defended her recent visit to Taiwan. She said that America will not allow China to isolate Taiwan, but also that her tour of Asia was not intended to change the status quo in the region. The Chinese military has conducted massive live-fire drills around Taiwan in response to this week's visit by Ms. Pelosi.
They may try to keep Taiwan from visiting or participating in other places, but they will not isolate Taiwan by preventing us to travel there.
Well, Taiwan's defense ministry says that multiple Chinese vessels and aircraft have crossed the informal line dividing the Taiwan Strait between the island and mainland China for a second day. Our correspondent Rupert Wingfield-Hayes is in Taipei.
Things have started here today. The Taiwanese defense ministry is reporting that numerous and aircraft have crossed what they call the center line, which is the line halfway between Taiwan and the mainland of China. It's still early here this afternoon. Yesterday we saw multiple missiles being fired in the afternoon towards waters around Taiwan. Could happen again today. But I think the jury is out on how long and how far China is going to push this show of force. A lot of experts are saying there's going to be a few days of fireworks to make a big show and intimidate Taiwan, but that also China is going to normalize this, and that Chinese naval and air and more aggressively patrolling in the waters of Taiwan, in the Taiwan Straits, in the coming weeks and months, for Beijing to show that really this is its territory and it is not going to be pushed around by Taiwan or the United States. It's a sort of normalization of Chinese control over the waters that it claims.
Well, let's get the latest now with our China correspondent Stephen McDonnell, who joins us live from Beijing. Stephen, welcome to you. Beijing has called its war games a necessary response to this visit, but Washington has said that China has chosen to overreact. What's your analysis?
Well, one interesting thing has been that the Chinese military isn't hiding some of the stuff that it's doing. In fact, we had a major general from the Defense University on television here confirming that Chinese missiles had actually been fired over Taiwanese territory. Now, if that's correct, that is a dramatic escalation in what the PLA has been prepared to do in these types of live fire exercises. Certainly it hasn't happened for decades, if at all. If this does become a sort of normal situation, it marks quite a dramatic escalation. It's interesting, though, I did see some analysis from some military boffin types, though, saying that in Taiwan and even in the US, the militaries there are kind of finding this useful themselves because it enables them to study the PLA's thinking and capacity and hence plan for an eventual defense of Taiwan. So on the one hand, Beijing might think, well, this is great, saber rattling, we're putting the fear of God or the fear of Chairman Mao into the people who live on that island. But another way of looking at it is that it also potentially better prepares them for such an attack if a real one ever does come one day.
Yes, Stephen, Nancy Pelosi has said her visit is not intended to change the status quo. In your view, though, has it inevitably done that?
If these exercises become normal, excuse me, if these exercises become normal, if we're seeing them every year, it has definitely changed the status quo in terms of what the Chinese military is prepared to do. I mean, if we're seeing an encirclement exercise of Taiwan every year, a dress rehearsal for a blockade, stopping commercial ships, stopping commercial flights from coming into Taiwanese airspace, well, that is definitely a shift. So if we're seeing this into the future, I don't see how you can say things haven't changed.
Stephen, the manoeuvres are taking place along some of the busiest shipping routes on the planet, which are used to supply things like semiconductors and electronic equipment. How much of an issue is that?
Well, of course, for at least the coming days, it's a huge issue if you can't get massive passenger planes in and out of Taiwan, if commercial ships can't land there, it can be quite damaging to Taiwan's economy and even to specific companies in Taiwan that can't get their shipments in or out. They would be hoping, though, that it doesn't last too long, that it's only till, say, the weekend, and then it can sort of return to normal, at least until the next time such a practice blockade takes place.
OK, Stephen McDonnell in Beijing for now. Thank you.